Hey guys, it's me Tilly, and today I'm back with a gearing priority guide for beginner players. So, the question that I get asked so many times: what weapon should I aim for? And I usually told you to go for Astera by default, because Dullahan will be obsolete way earlier than Astera is, due to it having 4000 less attack and 17 less crit. So, today I want to prove that. Today I actually did some research, believe it or not, and I'll show you when to go for Astera and when not to go for Astera. On the screen right now probably will have some screenshots and some stats. For me, I'll just pop them up on my secondary screen. And I'll give you a little introduction. You will also have my era stats on the left right here. While my era might not be the very noob character, she is kind of close to it when it comes to relevant stats, because she is mostly running plus 12 gear. I have like one plus 14 and one 13, so that's 300 additional AD. So this number instead of 4.3k should only be 4k. And I already have a plus 14 Astera, while in today's guide I will only be talking about a plus 13 Astera. So that's another 500 AD that my era has on top of the stats that a new player will have, or a new player in my example will have. So it's another 800 attack and 500 attack technically. So here are the stats for a new player. On the left side it is what an Astera weapon will be, and on the right side it's what a Dullahan weapon will be. There are only really 4 significant stats only really 3 significant stats, since the most bottom one, the 200, is counter force, which in this sheet I put both of them on max, so there won't be any difference. As I said, Astera has 4000 more attack, and on my era you can actually see that. I have 37.6k. If you subtract the 500 additional attack that I got because my Astera weapon is 14 and not 13, you would be roundabout at that exact 37k mark that I put into the calculator. And on the right side, it will be a 33k. So, the difference in AD, which is the next number, is 3.5k, which again would match my era's AD if I subtracted the additional enhancement levels that I got on my armors and on my weapon. On the right side, the Dullahan, that resembles an all plus 12 gear that you will get for free, and a plus 15 Dullahan, which is the point that most people disagree with, right? There are people that will be like, go for plus 15 Dullahan, it's so cheap, it's plus 15 must be good, right? Yes and no, I'll come to that in a second. And then the third relevant stat is critical, where the Astera beats Dullahan by 17 crit. I just put in my era's crit for the lulz, because it's the only reference that I have, which is 163, which is not even good. And for Dullahan, that would be 17 lower. So here is what the results are. And you will see one very interesting thing, which is what I expected. So up until Claire, where the attack limit is actually 33k, which matches the attack you'll have by equipping a plus 15 Dullahan weapon, the Dullahan weapon will be stronger due to how attack and AD works. The more attack that you have on Astera won't matter until that point. And then obviously the higher AD that you have from the Dullahan weapon kicks in. But every raid after this will favor the Astera weapon, due to attack being a better scaling stat if it is a 1-to-1 ratio. 1k attack deals more damage than 1k AD. As well as the crit, like 17%. It's, if you know how crit works, 17, huge. So on Colossus, it's not the biggest difference, it's only 5.6%, but it scales really rapidly. On Maka, it's already 17%. On Agaris, it's already 31%. On Marject, which is the raid that will probably be released. By the time this video goes live, Marject is already released, and in that raid, the Astera plus 13 will be 48% stronger than the Dullahan Weapon plus 15. And if you take a look at the lower raids, where the Astera will be worse than the Dullahan, it's not as significant. Like in Dullahan, or like even in the level 90 raids, which I think is the Season 3 normal raid, it's only 18% weaker. And usually, you want to tend towards the newer content, right? You don't want to be grinding level 90s. Obviously, for a start, that's perfectly fine. But transitioning into the later stages of the endgame, you obviously want to focus on these last bosses, where the difference between a plus 13 Astera and 15 Dullahan is much, much, much in favor of the Astera. There are 3 things I still need to mention about this calculation. First, it does not take attack speed and balance into consideration. The plus 15 Dullahan will obviously have 4 attack speed more than the plus 13 Astera, which will obviously put the Dullahan DPS a little bit closer to the Astera than whatever number is shown on the right side here. And it also doesn't take balance into consideration, which again, Dullahan has more balance than the Astera, so the Dullahan will actually creep even closer to the Astera. But it won't be significant enough to make the plus 15 Dullahan compete with the 13 Astera in the latest raids. If you are a new player, and this is where my second concern about this calculation comes into play, there are people with a plus 15 Astera, mainly kind of me, for example. I'm able, because the rest of my gear is really optimized already, I'm able to have the attack limit on the latest raids. I can even surpass it and make use of ALR, but that's a different topic. If you are already semi-progressed, obviously you won't only have 33k attack with Dullahan. This is really beginner stats. But in my opinion, if you are starting out fresh right now, it is the easiest way of getting a bunch of attack, going for Astera right away. And by the time you get those stats, there will be new content out. So improving your other gear then will only make it more future-proof. If your goal is to just farm level 95 raids, you don't even want to get counter-force, feel free to go for a Dullahan. Obviously, a really good weapon for the level 90, 95s, even the Redeemer raids. But if your intent is to farm Astera, farm the latest content, you kind of need Astera. Or you might not be in need of Astera, but take these stats that are on screen right now into consideration when it comes to how strong is attack compared to AD. So to round this topic up, this video was made during Serene being the latest boss that was added to the game. Marject is just around the corner, and we already know about 2 more bosses, Aodan and Caesar, which will only have higher attacks, or attack limits rather, sorry. Meaning that if you start right now, I would highly advise you against crafting a Dullahan weapon. Not crafting it, but investing into it. Reforging it all the way to plus 15, in my opinion, right now, should not be done anymore. Especially with us already knowing that the future will have a reduction in steel cost when it comes to Astera reforges. I will have a separate video where I'm talking about the 105 update, what's to come, and how to prepare. But for now, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do. If you have any questions left regarding or if you just disagree with what I've said in the video, comments down below, my Discord, my Twitch, you know where to find me. I see you.